Hello again, traders, and welcome back to the Hot Stocks Outlook for January 24th, 2025. Hope you all have had an excellent week out there in the financial markets. And as always, we're going to take a look at the most recent VantagePoint AI predictive forecast. So if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and click on the link down in the description below. You can get signed up for a live demonstration so you can learn all the specifics about how these predictive technologies are helping traders make better trading decisions out in the marketplace. And so this week, I figure we jump right into some of the most recent forecasts here. And we'll start here with GE Aerospace. And so this is a really good example of how all of these predictive indicators work together. So one of the first things that you're going to notice is there is a black and a blue line right up against all of this price data. And so what these are is daily bars and candles. So all the predictive technologies work off of end of day data, and all those candles represent a full and complete trading day. And so what we have right up against that price data is this black line and blue line value. And what the black line is actually a simple moving average. This is a very common technical analysis tool. In this case, it's a 10 period. So it takes the last 10 close prices, adds them all together, and then divides by that number. And so VantagePoint users utilize that level really as a baseline, right, to let us know where market prices have been, because all that data is lagging. It really comes from previous closes, so it's really just summarizing what's already occurred in the marketplace. And so what we're able to do is compare that to this proprietary predicted moving average. And so for this number to get calculated and plotted, essentially a future price plotted on the chart every evening, well, this is where the technology of artificial neural networks come in, and they're performing what we would call intermarket analysis. And so what that means is that rather than just looking at the past prices, VantagePoint's tools are looking at other markets that are known to drive and influence future prices. And so this can be things like other individual stocks or ETF groups within the corresponding sector, or also stocks that may not share an obvious relationship but are valuable to producing an accurate forecast. But it's also able to look at things like the S&P 500, the futures. It may look at even commodities like gold and oil, whatever's relevant to that particular market, even things down to interest rates and even global currencies where it's applicable. And so it's taking this global approach to generate these highly accurate predictions and using really the most relevant data sets, right? Those other markets that are sharing market relationships. And so whenever we see that blue line, in this case, cross above the black line, what's suggesting average prices are going to start moving higher, and traders would therefore maybe look to take a long position in agreement with their strategy here. So we see, since that forecast has come through on GE Aerospace, we got about a 20% rally here in 21 trading days, obviously assisted here by this boost in earnings. What's really nice about the VantagePoint software is we have these other predictive tools that really help traders fine-tune their entries, and even before this earnings announcement, maybe getting a very solid cushion going into that event there. So what we can observe here is if you look at the bottom of the chart, you see this bar here that goes from green to red and back to green. Well, this is the VantagePoint Predicted Neural Index, and it's tuned to solve a different problem for traders. It's not looking at the overall trend direction, but just short-term strength over a 48-hour window, or you could think of that as really a couple trading days moving forward. And so you'll notice that within the uptrend, when that neural index goes bearish, you tend to get some subsequent weak price action. And that can alert traders to know that, okay, well, maybe you want to even, add to the position buying on a dip, but understand that the overall trend is up, but we're just getting some short-term weakness over that corresponding time period. And lastly, we're actually provided with a VantagePoint predicted high and low. So this really takes it to intraday, right? Not the overall trend, not 48 hours, but really intraday levels that help traders establish a position, take profit targets, even set stop losses. And so you see here as the market moves down towards these predicted lows, that neural index gets bearish, saying, hey, look down towards these predicted low levels. If you have an order, you're just going to get filled at the open. Again, a level here to take a position. Multiple days we are hitting the predicted low before we really start to accelerate and that momentum kicks into the marketplace. So this is how traders are adjusting their position sizes and making sure they're around for when these big rallies really kick off here. So there's been a lot of very strong stocks in the marketplace, along with a little bit of weakness in some performers like Apple and Las Vegas Sands, which we looked at in previous occasions. But here in a lot of the healthcare and insurance stocks, here we have Humana, blue line crossing above the black line. Again, we get this period of just sideways price action, right? So, you're in an uptrend, but neural index is bearish and you really just don't get anywhere. Once that neural index gets bullish, you see the momentum really kicks back into the marketplace and things accelerate. Again, here, neural index bearish. You get a couple of down days where the price action is lower than where that prediction came through. but overall the trend here is up. And of course, we'll take a look at the overall move here, about a 15% rally on Humana here, right? So this is a not an exciting penny stock or anything like that, but some substantial gains to be made over the past 18 trading days. And again, we can take a look at those VantagePoint predicted highs and lows, which of course are going to really fine tune things as we see excellent entries before this market really kicks up. And one of the great things about artificial intelligence is its ability to adapt, right? So it takes in all this data, understands where the close is, and you actually see this prediction of the predicted high and low slanting lower, right? It's letting you know that even within this short-term time frame, expect lower prices. We get that. Now it's saying expect this market to go a little bit lower here. That neural index had gotten bearish, but overall the trend is up. You really want to look to be a buyer in the market, and then we see as that neural index gets bullish again, momentum kicking back into the market, and shares moving significantly higher there. So really nice move, 15% as of today, but still in that uptrend position. Here's Seagate Technology, and again, a really straightforward forecast. Blue line crossing above the black line, neural index bullish, and again, you see these periods where the overall trend is up, but you may get some consolidation and sideways price action, and once those things correct, you tend to see that momentum really kick back into the markets. This has been a really fantastic opportunity here in Seagate. Shares up now over 22% in just 13 trading days, right? So we've seen the indices just grind up and everything go higher. Generally, when the S&P is moving higher in the NASDAQ, that's good for things like Apple, but right now, there's a lot of other areas that are a lot more interesting on the bullish side. So you see here in Apple, we get that blue line crossing below the black line. We keep bringing this through week after week because it's just emblematic of how VantagePoint can really direct the attention to where the more profitable opportunities are, especially on the bullish side here. Here, if we get that blue line crossing above the black line, well, maybe there'll be an opportunity. We have earnings coming up as well. But recently, this is a stock you just wanted to avoid, especially if you're doing some shorter term trading. Shares off about 11% just in the past 15 trading days. So, the difference between Apple and Seagate there, one going up 15, one going down 11. So that can make a big difference as far as your overall portfolio. Again, we can look at these predicted highs and lows, and we get these multiple periods where it's like, look, you don't want to be long up at these most recent predicted lows. And if you're getting involved in a trend trade, potentially those early entries, getting involved in that decline in the share price pretty early, or potentially trading some options to hedge yourself, right? Las Vegas Sands, this is another area where there's some market weakness. Blue line below the black line, neural index bearish, and this has just continued to move lower and lower. And so you see also shares like Wynn Resorts, a lot of those correlated stocks also doing very poorly. Just this last week moving up towards these predicted highs and then going lower, really responding negatively to that earnings announcement. And overall, we can see shares off a good bit now. So this was actually one of those stocks that did really well last summer. And going into the fall, a lot of Chinese stocks did really well, but right now is not the time to be positioned here. Shares off about 19% just in the last 26 trading days. And lastly, just a very straightforward tech forecast here from CDW. Blue line crossing above the black line. Look at this neural index. Again, just positioned saying, look, there's some strength here every single day. You don't even want to expect those dips in the market. Just expect some strength. And again, we look at those VantagePoint predicted lows in this case to get on the bullish side, and you just see multiple entries as this market just goes higher and higher. And the overall strength of the market, again, this responding very well and positioned well as we see the overall move here, up about 12% just in about 12 trading days. So, there's really some exciting opportunities out here, but, if you're looking at the indices and thinking, hey, Apple should start moving higher, well, this is where VantagePoint can be really helpful to say, where are those stronger opportunities? What are likely to benefit from those intermarket relationships that drive and influence the future price of a lot of individual equities and markets out there? So once again, this has been our Hot Stocks Outlook for January 24th, 2025. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck out there, and bye for now.